It is 2 a.m. in a dementia care facility. An 85-decibel alarm screams through the ward. On a nurse's tablet, a digital clock is ticking down from 45 seconds to 0. A young staffer, desperate to hit the deadline, rushes into a dark room and forcefully tries to move an 88-year-old veteran back to bed. Terrified by the sudden noise and the rush, the man fights back, loses his footing, and falls hard against a concrete floor. The board of directors had just spent $45 million on a state-of-the-art AI system to prevent this exact moment. In the quest for absolute safety, the facility had optimized its way into a crisis, using a system designed to prevent injury to actually cause it. At headquarters, the numbers were a triumph, a 94.8% AI interception rate. But on the floor, the reality was different. Nurses were quitting from alarm fatigue, and elderly residents were being sedated just to stop them from triggering the sensors. This friction is the modern evolution of scientific management. Frederick Winslow Taylor pioneered the idea that every human movement could be timed, measured, and treated like a mechanical part in a factory. Modern AI takes this to a mathematical extreme through a loss function. The algorithm's only job is to find the lowest point in a topographical map of data. In this facility, that deep valley represents a goal of 0 falls. To reach that absolute 0, the system flattens everything around it. It ignores the cost of muscle atrophy from being trapped in a chair, the delirium caused by blaring alarms, and the basic autonomy of the residents. This is the risk of loss function usurpation. It is what happens when a mathematical goal functions in a vacuum. The metric becomes the priority, and the human being becomes just another variable to be managed. To find the blind spot in the algorithm, we have to look back to the philosopher who first mapped out human knowledge. Aristotle identified different ways that we perceive and act upon the world. There is episteme, the realm of scientific data and laws, and techne, the craft of making things, like code or engineering. AI has already reached a level of supremacy in both, but he pointed to a third dimension, Phronesis, or practical wisdom. This isn't a set of rules. It's the ability to look at a messy, contradictory human situation and understand what the right thing to do actually is. This is something an algorithm cannot do. As the philosopher Yangming argued, moral conscience, or Liangzhi, requires more than processing power. It requires a physical body that can feel empathy, experience pain, and understand the profound weight of a choice. Computation deals in probabilities, but values are often mathematically incommensurable. A computer can tell you the odds of a fall, but it cannot decide how much dignity is worth trading for a data point. When the facility finally addressed the crisis, they didn't scrap the AI. They realigned it with a human telos, an ultimate purpose. They decided the goal wasn't just 0 falls, but protecting the dignity of the elderly. They lowered the beds almost to the floor and installed shock-absorbing mats. These physical changes meant a fall no longer had to be a catastrophe. They retrained the AI to monitor intent, not block movement. When a resident starts to stand, the system sends a silent vibration to a nurse's smartwatch, signaling it's time to offer a hand. With human judgment back at the center, the AI functioned as a background safety net. It helped the staff anticipate needs without startling the residents, leading to 0 injuries and a staff that finally had the time to provide actual care. This conflict isn't just happening in nursing homes. We see it in boardroom decisions every day, from AI-generated layoff lists to algorithms that exploit customer data to boost quarterly earnings. There is a growing trend of moral outsourcing, where leaders use an algorithm's output as a shield. They treat a computer's recommendation as a neutral, objective truth to avoid the emotional weight of a difficult decision. But hiding behind data doesn't remove the responsibility for the outcome. When a leader refuses to bear the human cost of a choice, the organization loses its sense of direction. For leaders facing these pressures, there is a simple mandatory practice: the STOP protocol. Stop the momentum, take a breath, observe the reality the data missed, and then proceed with moral conviction. This is the core of Immanuel Kant's ethical mandate. Human beings must be treated as an end in themselves, and never merely as a means to an end. In an age of infinite calculation, your true value as a leader isn't your ability to process data. It is the courage to keep your conscience clear and protect human dignity, even when the metrics say otherwise.